After everything was in the dishwasher and we washed our hands, Huntley caged me in with my back against the sink. With his hands gripping the edge of the counter, he lowered his head to capture my mouth in a deep kiss. I twined my arms around his neck as our tongues tangled. Breathless and more than a little turned on, I whimpered in protest when his phone chirped and he pulled away.
"Sorry, Gingersnap. That's the tone I have set for the Rear Admiral, so I can't ignore it."
I was disappointed for our kiss to end, but I understood his job meant he couldn't ignore his phone. He'd made a commitment to the Navy, which I respected. Gesturing toward the phone, I said, "No apology needed. Take the call. I should probably check my phone anyway."
"Thanks."
He brushed his lips against mine again before striding over to the table to grab his phone. I listened to the deep tone as I padded upstairs to the bedroom. I hadn't noticed last night, but my purse and jacket had been in the back seat of Huntley's SUV. Cash, Deacon, and Sterling had been released by the cops much more quickly than we'd been. While we'd been stuck at the police station last night, the guys were busy smoothing things over for us. They got one of their friends to pick them up, headed over to the warehouse to grab Huntley's SUV, and then went back to the bank to grab my stuff. I hadn't even thought to question how his vehicle had gotten there until they texted him this morning. I was dreading the conversation I needed to have with my parents about what had happened yesterday, but I couldn't avoid talking to them forever. I didn't worry too much about them hearing about the robbery and me being taken hostage on the news, since I doubted my ordeal would make national headlines with all the crap going on in the world. But ever since they moved to Florida, we talked at least a couple of times a week. After flopping down on Huntley's mattress, I glanced down at my screen and heaved a deep sigh of relief when there weren't any missed calls from them. Talking to my parents the morning after losing my virginity, and quite thoroughly at that, while wearing nothing but Huntley's shirt, seemed as though it would be even more awkward than having to tell them I could have died yesterday. I needed to go back to my apartment at some point today, so I decided to wait to call them until then. I was scrolling through my social media a few minutes later when Huntley came into the room. As soon as I spotted his frown, I had a feeling I wasn't going to like what he had to say. "What's wrong?"